Hey there guys, how are you? It's John Madrid with John Madrid's Factory Direct Homes. So as you've seen, we're dropping new content almost every single day to come to you guys and not only help you purchase your new home, but educate you on maybe why or how to purchase your new home. So today's subject, we're going to discuss the cost of waiting that comes to mind as far as buying a house, right? So don't get me wrong, I've been in sales for decades, and at the same time, you guys have been buying things for decades. And a lot of times we always say, well, wait for later. And when it comes to like a small item, let's say like a shirt or a purse or something like that, it's not going to affect you. It's really not that big a deal. But we do have three things that are considered necessities to live, right? So we got to talk about food, clothing, and shelter. So we sell shelter. Manufactured homes are shelter. So you really can't afford to put off or wait to buy. Now, don't get me wrong. If you can't due to a circumstance like lack of down payment, well, guess what? We have banks that help with down payment. I'll do a different video on that, but that way you don't have it in your mind that that's a reason that you can't. Or my credit's not where it should be. Call, text, or email me. We first need to attempt to purchase, see what the banks say. If they don't give us options, they'll give us a roadmap on how and what to do. And guess what? We partner with a company that helps and gives our clients a huge discount and a lot of value to repair that credit. Again, that'll be a different video. But cost of waiting. So I'm reading off of this. So if you guys want a copy of this, I will send it to you. But I want to give you kind of an overview. Again, this is just an example. So we're going to use $100,000 as an example. Of course, there's houses that are less and there's houses that are more. So again, this is just an example. We're going to use interest rate, let's just say 10%, okay, as an average. Again, some are lower, some are higher. And again, we'll have a whole nother video on interest and how to pay off your home early, things like that. Okay, but again, these are just examples. And then we'll just pick a random number, like for here, 23-year term. Again, don't let that freak you out because there's some of you guys that have been renting for 23 years. That should freak you out. But either way, so we're gonna go about that. So 23 years, that means 276 months. Again, this video is an overview, all right? So let's just take, if you were to wait 1 year, which you shouldn't, and some of you already have, it's gonna break down how much it cost you for waiting that 1 year. All right, so on average, the increase of like lumber, steel, sheetrock, fuel, you always see the news, that stuff's never going down, it's always going up. So let's say that moderately speaking, there's a 2.5% increase in any of those items. So that 100,000 is gonna go up $2,500, right? Just because of the fact that it went up 2.5%, which again, doesn't sound like a lot, but it'll add up, okay? Now, if you're doing, let's just using that same example of the, let's say for example, the whole interest rate thing. If your interest rate were to go up just 1%, okay? So let's say from 10 to 11, or from 9 to 10, or whatever your rate is. That's another $69.83 per 100,000 for a 1% difference in your rate. So that, again, that adds up, right? If you're sitting here watching this video, trying to figure out what you can afford, waiting is not gonna help you afford more. Not if you're not being proactive, okay? So that 1% on 100,000 is $69.83 a month. Over those 276 months, that's $19,000, $19,272.07 in interest, just by it going up 1%. Now, keep in mind that that 2.5% increase of fuel, material, whatever is $2,500, right? Let's say that same 10% interest, that's another $23 a month. Over the 276 months, that's $6,397.55. So those two items, $2,500 increase, which is not a lot. That's almost $6,500 in increases. 1% increase in interest, that's $19,000. So that's roughly $25,000 in 1 year you lost by waiting. Okay. All right, so then the next thing, let's say that if you're not buying, most likely you're renting, right? So let's just say that the average person spends $1,500 in rent. So you're probably thinking to yourself, that sounds about right. Well, $1,500 over 12 months, that's $18,000. And in addition to the $25,000 you've already spent with the increase of material or your interest rate going up, okay? Now, if you buy a house, okay, a lot of people, they're worried about interest and saying it's going to be a lot of interest. You get to write off 100% of your interest on your tax return. Again, I'm not a tax person, but I know my tax person writes off the interest that I pay on my loan, plus property taxes and things like that. So let's just say that on a $100,000 loan amount, you could save or increase your tax return by $2,000. So if you get $5,000 a year, you'd get $7,000 on average by just owning a house, plus all the other savings. Now, when you add up the $6,400 in the increases of material, gas, fuel, sheetrock, things like that, the $19,000 that you paid extra over that term in interest, the $18,000 you spent on rent because you still have to live somewhere, okay? And the other $2,000 you lost on your tax return, that's $45,755.78. Again, I have one of these cool sheets I could email you. That way it can break it down for you. Again, we're professionals here. If you have more specific questions on the cost of waiting and you are tired of waiting and you want to take the first step, call, text, email us today. And if you drop a comment or mention that you watched this video and that's why you called, we're going to throw in free vinyl skirting for you on any home that you purchase, okay? So remember, call, text, email us, and apply today. All the information is in the link. We look forward to helping you and your family get into a new house. Y recuerda que si hablamos español, so también se necesita ayuda con una casa, márcanos, mándanos un mensaje, un email electrónico, como quiera, aquí estamos. Again, guys, John Madrid right here to you guys from John Madrid's Factory Direct Homes. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.